Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll be discussing all the delicious food we encountered on the beautiful Greek island of Crete. Now, if you're currently thinking, hey, wait a minute, where's Elena? Isn't this her YouTube channel? Who's this joker? Well, I understand. She's more beautiful and far more interesting. So I'm Mike, and I'm the guy whose back or backpack you usually see walking around in Elena's travel videos. As a former chef, however, I'm also the one who's keenly focused on the culinary side of our travels. Elena will surely create a video on Crete and its exciting things to see and do, but the food we ate there was so good that I thought it deserved a separate video of its own. So here goes. Crete is an island absolutely covered with olive trees, like 30 to 40 million of them. They're planted everywhere, even on steep mountain ridges. Some of the oldest olive trees in the world are here, some estimated to be 2,000 to 4,000 years old. Crete produces some 200,000 metric tons of olive oil annually, which is roughly half of Greece's annual output. It's said the residents of Crete consume on average 25 to 30 liters of olive oil per person. On Crete, the olive is not only a way to make a living, it's an integral part of life itself. So, when visiting Crete, you must try the olive oil. Some producers do olive oil tours and tastings where they explain what makes a quality oil and how to taste it properly. It's a fun and educational experience.
This is from early harvest.
Early harvest olives yield less oil, but are more fruity, bitter, and spicy, resulting in a less acidic, higher quality oil, best used as a finishing condiment.
This is for salads, not cooking. It's too strong and it's a pity to cook with a premium.
Early harvest oil is also believed to have more health benefits. Later in the season, the larger, ripened olives produce a more neutral oil, which is higher in acidity and better for cooking.
It's the one we prefer to use for cooking, but many people use it for both. It depends on your taste.
Did you know there are Grand Cru olive oils?
Grand Cru is 0.2, is the minimum, so it's the highest quality.
So the acidity is how they grade the quality. Obviously also taste and things, but the acidity is a main...
Acidity and the organoleptic profile. Because there are people who are olive oil experts. They taste it, they smell it.
It's very much like wine, huh?
Exactly.
The whole
Yes,
complexity of it, yeah. Like wine, olive oil tasting and testing is a big deal, with many oils from Crete winning awards from around the globe.
This is in the top 5 in the world in the last 7 years.
On a tour or tasting, they'll show you how to evaluate olive oil by covering the small vial with one hand and warming it up in the other. Then you check the aroma, and then you sip and do the wine tasting kind of inhale. You have to warm it up. Warming it up. Are you ready for a smell?
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me what you smell?
I didn't know there was a tasting and aroma wheel for olive oil. It outlines the positive and negative attributes that can be associated with a given oil. Positives include avocado, green banana, and mint. And I had to laugh at some of the negatives, which include horse stable, moldy hay, and baby vomit. Compared to bland grocery store olive oil, the real deal from younger olives is definitely more bitter and spicy, as it should be. And once you come to appreciate its true flavors, it's impossible to enjoy a meal without it. Which brings us to the delicious food of Crete. In restaurants, always get the bread. It's usually a small charge per person, like 1 or 1.5 euros. It might be grilled, it may include pita, but it's always the best way to try more olive oil. Now let's look at the appetizers. I think everyone knows the yogurt-based tzatziki. Here are dakos, which is kind of like bruschetta in Italy. It has tomatoes, cheese, and olive oil, but on a really hard bread known as a rusk. Because it's so hard, it's best to let the juices soak in and soften the bread before eating it. Here's a yogurt appetizer infused with beetroot and topped with walnuts. This dish is flepsia and psychomagis. Now is probably a good time to mention that I don't speak Greek and I'm probably butchering, no pun intended, the pronunciations of some of these dishes. My apologies, but it's all Greek to me. Anyway, this appetizer is a rolled pastry made of phyllo dough filled with a katsuhori cheese and then deep fried and served with a side of fig marmalade. Here are vine leaves and zucchini flowers stuffed with herbs and groats and is served with a side of yogurt. This interesting dish is called kagianis. It only has 2 ingredients, eggs and tomatoes, simple and delicious. And the cheese, we have to talk about the cheese. On Crete, you'll find cheeses like graviera, mizithra, manuri, feta of course, and katsuhori. Try as many varieties as you can. Here we have deep-fried, phyllo-wrapped feta with a jam and pralined hazelnuts. Super warm and delicious. My favorite is probably the saganaki, which is a simple fried cheese. It's usually made with graviera, and sometimes you'll see it coated with sesame seeds. Another way to enjoy cheese is the kalitsounia. These are small hand pies, kind of like an empanada, stuffed with cheese, local greens, and/or meat. Here's a spinach salad with manuri cheese, a soft white cheese from goat or sheep. Speaking of salads, most restaurants have a large variety on the menu. Vegetarians will be delighted, but you should be aware that some salads include apaki, and that's a kind of smoked pork. In general, vegetarians are well taken care of on Crete. Here we have some slow roasted veggies with cheese. There are loads of eggplant dishes. This is known as gramitza, which is tomatoes, peppers, or zucchini stuffed with rice and herbs. And there are many other delicious choices. Vegetarian or not, everyone should try the local bitter greens, including wild chicory, fennel, carrot, parsley, and many others. Since Crete is a Mediterranean island, with over 650 miles of coastline, it almost goes without saying that the seafood is a must-try. I love the fresh calamari, octopus, both grilled and in salads, and don't forget to try the fish soup. When talking about Greek food, the gyro is usually everyone's first thought. I went upscale and very non-traditional at Abla in Hania and tried the duck pita with fessajun dressing and pickled loquat. The combo was interesting, but it was also delicious. The next Greek food on everyone's list is moussaka, a delicious meat, potato, and eggplant combo crowned with silky bechamel. Almost always available and always a winner, especially if you're not feeling too adventurous with your menu choices. A more traditional Greek option is beef stifado, which is a beef and onion stew that is slow roasted for hours. You'll love its tender meat and rich, delicious sauce. Antikristo is a very old, traditional way of roasting meats, and I found it fascinating. It's a long process, but the results are incredibly tasty. Basically, large cuts of meat are threaded onto giant skewers, which are then placed on a special rack that can rotate around an open fire, based on where the chef wants to apply the heat.
So when I target something, I put fire there,
This type of indirect cooking takes hours and hours, but the results are spectacular. Super tender, flavorful lamb, beef, and pork antikristo can be found at certain restaurants around the island. Don't miss it, and definitely call ahead to reserve. And let's not forget Cretan wine. While it's not going to beat out France or California, Greek wine is perfectly paired with the local food. A great way to sample the many indigenous varietals is a wine tasting tour. In restaurants, a half liter of house wine is only 4 to 6 euros, so it's almost a crime not to have wine with your meal. And why not? You're on vacation, right? Keep an eye out for Retsina wine. It's a unique, dry white wine made with pine resin. It's harder to find, but if you happen to see it on the menu, order a glass and give it a try. And then there's the ubiquitous Raki, also known as tekudia locally. This is a strong spirit distilled from grape pumice. It's not like the anise-flavored ouzo that everyone associates with Greece. You can't avoid Raki on Crete, so you may as well dive in and enjoy. We ate at one taverna that makes a cinnamon-infused Raki, and they send everyone home with a small bottle. Desserts. Oh my gosh, don't even bother looking at the menu for desserts, because the restaurants on Crete almost always give you a small, free dessert after the meal, and it's always served with a bottle of Raki. Here we have loukoumades, little syrupy donut balls, served, of course, with Raki. Here's a take on halva made with semolina, again served with Raki. I'm not even sure what these were, but they were super yummy and, you guessed it, more Raki. See what I mean? At this taverna, we were served a deep-fried, cheese-stuffed pita with cinnamon and honey. Especially when you're traveling through the highlands, keep an eye out for goat milk ice cream, different and delicious. This tasty treat is called galactobureko. I think I said that right. It's basically a semolina custard with layers of phyllo dough that's been drenched in a flavored syrup. Here's another dessert your grandma would be proud of. A soft cake with honey and super fresh fruit of the season. You'll find all sorts of homemade goodies at local cafes and family-run restaurants and shops. Here we tried the baklava and an orange cake that was absolutely outstanding. It's no wonder the cake was delicious, because the cafe owner had loads of fruit trees in his yard. You'll see fruit trees all around Crete. Oranges, lemons, persimmons, pomegranate, and lots of figs. Take advantage. I think Greek food is so delicious because they cook with the seasons. If it's not growing and ready to eat, it's not on the menu. Everything is fresh, local, and you can taste the difference. You'll find no shortage of super cute, casual restaurants in the narrow old town alleys of Chania and Iraklio. Most are highly rated, and it's almost hard to have a bad dining experience. There are some fancier, high-end options, like Pesquezi in Iraklio, where I had the best dish of the entire trip. Their kreokakavos is an outrageously succulent pork belly, roasted with honey and thyme and served with a legume puree. I may not have pronounced it correctly, but it was definitely delicious. Be sure to make advance reservations. Food is a great way to understand people, culture, and traditions, so I like to find everyday places where I can eat alongside the residents. This is where the local tavernas reign supreme. Friendly faces, great value, and home-style meals from family recipes. One reward for venturing from the cities and into the rural highlands is unexpectedly stumbling upon a roadside taverna like this one. Locals were eating, drinking, and socializing as if it were the only thing on the schedule that day. We felt like we were crashing someone's backyard Sunday barbecue. We were greeted with several meze items, and I ordered some house wine. Then, rather than translate the all-Greek chalkboard menu, the owner simply brought us to his outdoor kitchen to show us what was on offer. Clay pots were balanced over burning sticks and coals, slowly braising the various meats and stews. The wood-fired oven was roasting lamb and goat and vegetables, and the aroma was enticing. I opted for the pork shank with oven-roasted potatoes, which was huge and delicious, while Elena had an assortment of veggie options, including stuffed cabbage rolls, grumitsa, and domades. The meal finished with a sweet cheese stuffed pita for dessert, and, by now you can guess, a small bottle of Raki. The bill was only 25 euros, and we left happy, full, and grateful. So, when you're driving around inland Crete, and you see a cute scene like this, take the time to pull over and investigate. Have a coffee or lunch, peruse the shops. Maybe pick up some Cretan thyme honey to bring home. For seafood, sunshine, and gorgeous views, be sure to dine at some of Crete's many beach cafes and waterside restaurants. Nothing feels more relaxing or gives you that island vibe than my perfect Greek meal. Grilled fresh calamari, dressed lightly with only olive oil and lemon, a glass of crisp white wine, and a table overlooking the sea. Thanks for watching. I hope this video didn't make you too hungry, and no one will blame you if your next click is searching for tickets to Crete. The food is worth the trip.